There. Your ears are running away? What? Have they fallen off? Have they got legs? Don't you like my soothing tones for you, Gio? Do you want me to go full ASMR? Because I know Lard is he's just cringing at the back here. Hello, Michael. So we start with the major regions of Egypt tonight. It sounds a bit pervy to me. I don't know about you guys.
Welcome to the major regions of Egypt.
I'm on a boat now. Oh, what's with mount a boat? I don't want to do that. I'm not into that.
Life in ancient Egypt was concentrated along the shores of the Nile and divided into two regions. Lower Egypt was situated on the Nile Delta near the Mediterranean, and Upper Egypt was at the south reaching into Africa. Due to its proximity to the Mediterranean, temperatures in Lower Egypt were less extreme than in Upper Egypt.
Egypt, not Egypt. No. But anyway, how are you? I'm okay, I'm good. I'm ready to do some more singing soon. Because, you know, the trader likes it.
Until 3100 BCE and the unification of Egypt, each region had its own pharaoh and crown. Lower Egypt's crown was red and marked with symbols of papyrus and bees. Upper Egypt's crown was white with symbols of lotus and sedge grass.
I mean, I like being on a boat and all that, but bloody hell. Hey, it's Pixel Pirate, lads. You want to come in and say hi? Pixel, good evening, mate. How are you? Yeah, look
Both
at me. I'm on a
regions had
boat
some
going
pretty
around the
major
canal.
cities, most
And
notably
I've not even got
Memphis
it
in
from
Lower Egypt
Bullseye.
and Thebes in Upper Egypt. There were different religious cults in both regions, each worshipping their own major gods.
And anyway, it's a shit speedboat. It really is. I don't know. I sound a bit off tonight. I don't really do.
Many of the temples were designed in such a way as to represent the two regions, and ceremonies often incorporated Upper and Lower Egypt in their rituals.
That's a bit rubbish, really, wasn't it? So while the trader is waiting, thank you very much for all the order hosts this evening.
Great success.
And there's even Michael's as well. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, I think the trader's definitely caught my cold because he's sounding off as well to me. Ah, you bugger off, lad, from get away from my chair. Let me talk to the people. Bugger. Learn about the River Nile.
Welcome to Bringer of Life, the River Nile.
But what I want to know is where is the River Fraser? That's what I want to know.
The ancient Egyptians called the dark fertile soil of the Nile the Black Lands, and the surrounding desert was referred to as the Red Lands. The dramatic difference of productive land opposed to barren desert had a deep influence on cultural ideology, mythology, and religion.
Oh, look, there's a couple of big uns over there. We'll be getting our hands on them later.
The Nile determined much of Egyptian civilization. For example, the seasonal cycle of the Nile was so consistent that ancient Egyptians created their calendar around it. The flood season, or Akhet, was when the departing floodwaters left arable soil for crops. It was followed by the growing and harvesting seasons, known as Peret and Shemu.
Oranges of origins, Robin.
And rich soil meant that
How are you?
Egypt's denizens were able to nourish themselves and ensure their country's strength in trade.
Because I'm the trader, aren't I? On tour, going through the flatlands. Hang on, I'll just get lard for you. Good evening, Robin. Yeah. It is the origins of oranges. As we're on the tour with a trader at the moment, he's just happily just playing with his boat. Not sounding quite himself tonight, I have to say.
The River Nile, flowing from the south to the north,
not bad, I'm getting there.
through both upper
Getting there,
and
you know, I'm
lower
still
Egypt.
bit
All of Egypt's major cities were built
chesty,
along
and
this
so's the
narrow
trader
ribbon of
from the
light.
sounds of it.
Protected by mountain ranges and deserts which acted as natural barriers to enemies, and sustained by the Nile's plants and wildlife, Egyptian civilization enjoyed economic and cultural prosperity for over 4,000 years.
Ooh, lots of stuff today. Maybe I could trade it in. Ah, it's really picturesque, isn't it? Just like a lot of ladies out there.
Both
I tried that, sounded a bit creepy,
and
stop that.
ancient Greeks
No, I'm
referred to
just,
the Nile
I'm
as
just
the river
exploring
in their
the
respective
beauty
languages.
of
Stretching a
mountain
distance of over
ranges.
6,700 kilometers, the Nile is one of the longest rivers in the world. It flows south to north, spanning 11 countries. The River Nile originates in the region of the Great Subequatorial Lakes, including one of the largest in the world, Lake Victoria near Tanzania.
Great success.
Tim, thank you for the host, good sir. Hope you're doing well. Quite a bit off course there, trader. You're right. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Creepy? I don't like creepy. I'd rather you all flirt. And go, ladies. I've got something I'd like to trade with you. That bloody boat got in the way. It is almost like the canals in Birmingham. This feels quite relaxing compared to earlier.
The river flows through African equatorial forests, swamps, volcanic lands, steppes, and deserts, splitting apart for a while and picking up various sediments from each region and carrying them all the way to Egypt. Its main artery, known as the White Nile, rejoins with the Blue Nile in Khartoum. This is where it weaves through rich deposits of silt and nutrients, carrying them along in its wake.
Wasn't Blue Nile an engineer for bridges and things? I seem to remember something along those lines, you know. I don't know though, I don't know. You lawsuits? I don't think I have any suits. I don't know, I think I traded them in. Hello, Tim. How you doing, man? How's your day been? I think the trader's got, you know, he's a bit bedazzled by all this beauty around. He's gone a bit quiet. You right there, trader? Yeah, sometimes I kill.
The Nile crosses 6 cataracts from the south to the north, creating natural obstacles between the various sections of the river. The cataracts are long zones of about 100 kilometers, where the bubbling and rapidly swirling waters advance tumultuously amid enormous heaps of rocks and benches of hard stone.
Hello, Dante. How you doing, man? Oh, these ships keep getting in my bloody way. They really do. I keep telling them, get out the way, but they just don't listen. As you can see here on the right, there's trees, and on the left there is trees and some buildings. Yes. I wish I was full of energy for a second stream. But it's a Thursday night, it's normal for me, so... Well, except the traders here trying to get a word in edgeways.
That the river officially returns to Egypt in Aswan. There are still 1,000 kilometers before it reaches Cairo and the Delta, bringing life to those living on its shores, before it eventually empties into the Mediterranean Sea.
It empties? That sounds a bit filthy, really. Again, the boat's in the way. Every time, I just don't know what to do with them. I can't board them. Hang on, trader, there seems to be deja vu happening here. Some of these jokes happened before, if I remember correctly. I mean, the tour mode, I mean, look at how gorgeous the game is. I mean, this is just, you know, so you can go around and learn a little bit of history of the thing, which is, the trader's trying his best, but I don't think it's working at the moment for him. Don't look at me like that, trader. I'm just a bit quiet at the moment because I'm on a boat and concentrating, yeah.
Ancient Egyptian irrigation and water use was centered around the Nile. However, they also had access to streams and rivers, as well as several large lakes. The Delta, situated at the north end of the Nile, also known as Lower Egypt, is a large irrigated area where the river splits into several tributaries.
It got ice cream and it's -7. Oh, that's a bit chilly. The trader would not like that at all. No, no. Though in this heat of Egypt, you know, I wouldn't mind it actually. That would be pretty nice. Because it's a bit chuffing warm in Egypt at the moment. It really is. It's just, yeah. I'm sweating like anything. as you can see on the right there, we got more boats. It's not too much at the moment. There's nothing much to see. It's just a bit rubbish, really.
The delta had several major brackish coastal lakes, bodies of water separated from the sea by thin strips of land. A mix of deep to shallow waters, salt swamps, and sand plains, these lakes were refuge to a wealth of species, as well as water and land plants. The occasional bandit could also be found sheltering within the denser reeds, waiting for the unwary traveler.
Bandits? Ooh, that sounds like something you should go see a doctor about, I think. Oh yeah, Tim, you were asking earlier, myself and the trader, if there's trophies for doing this. There's 3 trophies. One for just doing one tour. Another for doing the it's the aspects of life tour is on this. The last one we'll be doing on this before I fully take over. And the third one is doing a tour as 5 different characters. Because it's DLC. Oh no! See, I need this ice now. I need this ice cream.
Deserts of Egypt. Reaching out on either side of the lush Nile are the harsh, arid Western Desert and the mountainous Eastern Desert. They cover nearly 94% of Egypt. Each of these parent deserts have their own microclimate and contain several smaller deserts with a distinctive fauna and flora. Whale fossils were discovered within the depths of the Sahara. Known as the Valley of the Whales, this location is evidence of the seas which once covered the area.
So, what the lady's saying is there's a lot of desert and sand.
Reaching out on either side of the lush Nile are the harsh, arid Western Desert.
How do you call a horse again? I don't know. That didn't tell me. That silly bugger.
The White Desert in the northeast of the Sahara owes its name to its white limestone soil, contrasting with the yellow sand. The wind has eroded the rocks of the White Desert into stone mushrooms, the most famous of which is referred to as the Finger of God.
Oh, you were fingered by God. Oh, no, no, no. That's just, no. No. Hey, look, it's more rock.
The Great Sand Sea is a large unbroken desert that reaches out through western Egypt and eastern Libya. It is home to a unique geological formation known as Libyan silica glass. The pale yellowish-green material ranges from pebble-sized fragments to glass rocks the size of rough boulders.
Ah, it looks a bit parched, doesn't it? That's another one complete. Oh, that lady. Good evening, Princess Confidence. How you doing? Say hello to the lovely lady, Yorkshire Trader. Hello. I'm the trader. And I'm taking you around all of Egypt.
Welcome to the Qattara Depression.
Before Lard gets on with the main game of this.
The Qattara Depression is located in the northwest part of Egypt. Reaching 18,000 square kilometers, the basin is 133 meters below sea level and covered with salt. It is the second lowest point in Africa, after the Afar Depression.
I didn't know deserts could be depressed. Well, I guess so, because, you know, not much living in them.
The climate is very arid, with average temperatures reaching 36 degrees Celsius. The
Tad
famous
warm.
Siwa Oasis is located on the protected southwestern region. Today, the Katara Depression is utilized for oil exploration.
Hello, Husky, how you doing? And thank you, Tom Merritt, for the host. Blimey, Trader, you're getting through these, aren't you? Yeah, well, yes, I am. You know, I'm not getting paid by the hour. In fact, I'm not getting bloody paid.
Great success.
Thank you, Dante, for the host. What do you mean you're not getting paid, you trader? Well, you're not paying me anything, are you, in money? No, this is true. Paying you in Skittles? You said you like them. Ah, poor little desert. I know, it's very sad, isn't it? I think it just needs a good cuddle. Oh, Oasis, is it the band? Do we get a roll with it?
Welcome to Siwa.
See what I did there?
The Siwa Oasis is in the western desert of Egypt. Geographically, the Siwan Oasis is located in a depression 20 meters below sea level. Its natural springs and warm climate aided in the bountiful production of date trees. Though clearly influenced to some degree by Egyptian and African culture, the area's isolation resulted in a unique society and language. While they worshipped the same deities, Siwan temple architecture differed from traditional Egyptian temples.
No worries, Princess. Thank you so much for dropping by. And I may still be here when you're back, if you're back in time. If not, I shall see you hopefully tomorrow for some snooker. Yeah, the trader likes Skittles. I know. I looked at him. I looked at him gone out as well, mate. I thought he was more of a Twix person, but obviously not. I like the confectionery.
Old Kingdom
Okay.
Egyptians referred to the oasis as cauldron, due to its unique geographical structure. Oases were crucial for nomadic tribes and caravans. Without them, there was no chance of survival in an otherwise harsh landscape. As such, oases quickly became hubs for trade, as well as areas of political control.
Oh no, not political. No, I don't like that. No, I don't want any of that. No, that's just rubbish. That.
Because of the dry climate, there is very little rainfall to sustain the oases. Instead, underground rivers flood the natural basins. Since many oases have a sand orientation parallel to the Nile, some geologists suggest they were once tributaries of the mighty river. There is evidence that ancient Egyptians attempted to create some oases.
They attempted to create Oasis again. Is it a wonder wall? I don't know. It's very confusing.
The Libyan oases are the best known,
Oh,
as
Tetris.
they are geographically and culturally linked to the Nile Valley and the Delta. These western oases have a distinct geology from the other regions of Egypt. The most famous and important oases are Karga, Dakhla, Farafra, Baharia, and Siwa.
It's because Tim hasn't had a proper cup of tea yet. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Oh, careful around there for crabs, trader. Oi! Disgusting.
The The Spring of the Sun is one of many thermal sources in Siwa, with the particularity that Cleopatra would have bathed in this one, giving it its name. The presence of the source beneath was attested already by Herodotus during the 5th century BCE, when the oasis was called Amuneion by the Greeks of Cyrene.
Oh, hippos. Yeah, that's a very good point. There might be hippos over here. Let's have a look. If we look to our right, you shall see a fort. And if you look to your left, you will see not a fort. It's very in-depth there, trader. Well done. Sarcasm is it, Aelard?
Oracles predicted the future, delivered omens that could be more or less obscure, and offered divine guidance. The Siwan Oracle was considered one of the 3 greatest of the ancient world, alongside the oracles of Delphi and Dodoni. Because of the Greek colonies in Cyrenaica, the temple associated Zeus with the worship of Amun.
Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you very much indeed. I reward you by giving you a sight of the lovely lady looking at you going, "Hello, Tim. My, you're looking handsome today." Oh, get that bloody camel out of the way. Bugger.
It is no wonder that Alexander the Great made the perilous journey to Siwa in order to consult the oracle, emulating the actions of mythical heroes such as Hercules and Perseus. This action earned the approval of the oracle, who validated his claim as Pharaoh of Egypt. He was confirmed as the son of Amun, conferring upon him the most legitimate claim to date of all Egypt's foreign invaders.
I've sworn you're invader.
The powerful and the rich would send gifts or travel great distances in order to ensure their good fortune by gaining the blessing of the Oracle of Siwa. Every successful blessing only increased the soothsayer's prestige. Runner Eubotus, a famous citizen of Cyrene, consulted the Oracle in order to know if he would win the 93rd Olympic Games race in 408 BCE. He did, enhancing the standing of the Siwan Oracle in the process.
I don't know about you guys, but I have absolutely no idea what she's talking about. I really don't. I mean, I'm just going up a hill towards a fort. And something about Olympics, so, you know, I'm running.
The Temple of the Oracle of Amun was built in the 6th century BCE by Pharaoh Amasis. In the game, its entrance is guarded by ram-headed sphinxes, the animal representing Amun. They were inspired by similar statuary located at the British Museum. Another option would have a Greek-influenced representation of Zeus Amun, a human-headed sphinx with horns. This representation of Zeus Amun was very popular in Siwa.
In SeaWorld? I don't know, it doesn't sound very popular, does it? No. Fly me to the moon and let me play amongst the stars. See? Stars. All over the place there. The what? The where? The how?
Welcome to the Fayum. The Fayum Oasis is an enormous basin in the western desert that formed from the Nile's overflow. As such, it is not considered a true oasis, though it gives its name to the region, which covers Lake Moeris. The oasis harbors some of the oldest archaeological artifacts of the region, indicating that the area has been inhabited by hunters and gatherers since the Neolithic period.
Do not worry. Do not worry, Husky. Depending how fast we go on this one, how fast the trader gets you through these, it could be by
The
Tuesday the
Fayum
killing
Oasis
starts again.
drains into Lake Moeris, which was a large freshwater lake, but at some time became a saltwater lake. In the 12th dynasty, ancient Egyptians redirected the water flow with a dam and dug a supply canal using the lake as their reservoir. Irrigation enabled them to continue growing crops of figs, grapes, and olives year-round.
I mean, bless him, he is going at a fair old rate of knots to get you through it. Because the sheer look of confusion on his face.
Reed boats, feluccas, triremes, and kerkeros were the most commonly found craft within the landlocked waters of Egypt. They were used for various purposes, ranging from daily fishing, trade, warfare, and travel, to the ferrying of massive stone blocks used to build the great monuments of Egypt.
Hey, don't get this on mixed, I can tell you that much. You're learning with me, because I ain't got a bloody clue. I'm supposed to be a tour guide, and I just looking around going, oh well, that's a bit of sea. That's a pyramid. I know what a pyramid is. That's a bit of rock. If you pick it up, it's still a rock. So I guess we're kind of learning together, or you're learning. I'm just talking bollocks. The Reapers? Oh, I seem to remember something that Lard was on about with those. I think he shot a few. That's right, Trader, yes I did.
The most impressive pyramids of ancient Egypt date from the Old Kingdom and can be found on the sites of Giza, Saqqara, and Dashur. However, one particularly famous pyramid of the time is located elsewhere. During the Middle Kingdom, some pharaohs chose the Fayum as their final resting place. One such ruler was Amenemhat III. His pyramid left a mark on the imagination of antique chroniclers. They referred to it as the Labyrinth, mostly due to the vast mortuary temple complex at the foot of the pyramid. Herodotus mentioned that he had visited 12 courts and over 3,000 of its chambers. But he was also well known for being prone to hyperbole.
King Tuttim, is that the one that just sat there just was not impressed? As we go by a pyramid that's fallen down, they need to rebuild that, because it's got full holes in it. Zombies and mummies will escape. We don't want that. More bullets. Yeah.
Amenemhat's pyramid was built with a brick core and covered with stone slabs, designed to be impenetrable. The burial chamber, made out of a single block of sandstone, is unique in its design. Richard Lepsius and Flinders Petrie both explored the pyramid site, measuring 385 meters by 158 meters, and identified it as the location of the labyrinth. Their research conditions were difficult, as most of the site had been submerged by the nearby canal. Furthermore, the stones from the complex and the outer casing of the pyramid had been quarried away long ago. Ubisoft decided to give life back to this lost monument and the many crypts that were said to be devoted to the sacred crocodile god, Sobek.
So Ubisoft talking bollocks again at us. This wasn't really here, we just made it up. But we said it's here in the first place. Oh no, you see, you don't get my brand of tour guide on the History Channel. Ain't with logo, no. The lad there with his head, his head's in his hands. I don't know, no. It looks like a bloody swamp. I wasn't, part of this. Wasn't part of the thing for the tour guide. John and Bob, thank you very much for the host.
Founded during the 5th dynasty, the site was popular during the 12th dynasty under the name of Shedet. During the Ptolemaic era, the metropolis was named Crocodilopolis by the Greeks, in honor of the crocodile god Sobek. During the Greco-Roman era, the Cleruks, soldiers of the Ptolemies, settled there after their military service and expanded the irrigation systems. Irrigation and water distribution tripled the arable land and turned the city into a lush and rich area. 27,000 inhabitants lived in its precinct at its height. The city's location was strategic in controlling the many small waterways connecting to the main canal, and thus the Nile.
Dynasty? What? Queen Joan Collins and King Patrick Duffy? Then we'll wake up and this will be a horrible dream. It's having that old James Bond's man to come by with his like, his speedboat made of jelly.
The region's main cult was that of Sobek of Shedet, a divinity associated with water and fertility, both very important to an area that depended on irrigation. Many local villages had the title Town of Sobek added to their official designations. During festivals, ancient Egyptians recited hymns to Sobek, asking for his divine intervention. Greek settlers and later Romans would help the Temple of Sobek's economy to flourish by adopting the local embalming mortuary rites. Their sarcophagi were beautifully painted and adorned with amazingly realistic portraits.
I think he is. I think he's drunk on night nurse or something. I'm not drunk, thank you very much. I'm very sober. I think that's the problem. As I'm running down the street. Oh, there it is.
Very similar to the cult of the Apis bull in Memphis, a living crocodile was worshipped within the precinct of Crocodilopolis' main temple. Known as Sobek to the Egyptians and Sukkos to the Greeks, it was reported by Strabo that priests fed it with meat, wine, and honeyed milk. They covered its body with jewels and gold. After its death, it was embalmed and placed within the crocodile's grotto, alongside thousands of other mummified crocodiles.
They mummified crocodiles? I just make... Oh, wait, what? No. Yeah, I have to interject there with that. What? What? Oh look, we're wandering through a couple of big uns. Because I was walking in Memphis.
Welcome to the city of Memphis. Throughout all ancient Egyptian periods, cities had one thing in common. They were situated along the Nile's shores. Cities were often designated for government or for worship. Major cities had several temples dedicated to numerous gods and goddesses. Egyptians referred to the organization of their cities as a sepat, or later on by the Persian term nome. There were 20 sepat in Lower Egypt and 22 in Upper Egypt. The capital city of ancient Egypt changed many times over the periods.
Yeah, because they didn't want to be capital city. They just went, oh, do you want to be capital city this week?
One of the largest was Memphis, located in Lower Egypt. It was a key center for religious temples, including their most important deity, Ptah, god of creation. Thebes, located in Upper Egypt, competed with Memphis and featured as both a political and a religious center. Two important temples, Luxor and Karnak, were built there. A minor capital of the Sayyid dynasty was the city of Sais. This was the last native Egyptian capital of Egypt.
Before Cairo came in and went, no, I'll have it now, lads.
During the Third Dynasty, under Pharaoh Djoser, Memphis became the first religious and administrative capital of Egypt. Even when the political capital of Egypt decentralized itself, pharaohs were crowned in this sacred city in order to legitimize their ascension to the throne, up to and including Alexander the Great. Though little remains today save ruins south of Cairo, we can guess at the structure of the city, which stretched up to 5 kilometers in length and 2 kilometers in width.
Ah, so more bollocks from them.
Memphis was also referred to as the city with the 100 doors, or the White Walls. These names were in reference to the wall which surrounded the city. Under the protection of Ptah, god of craftsmen, the city was a thriving religious and economic hub.
Oh, that's alright. That's quite nice. Right, okay. No. That's not in order, is it? No. Oh, cats. Can we pet some lad? I don't know. I guess you can. If you want to. I mean, it's your tour. Rediscovered Egypt. We just discovered it earlier.
Welcome to Rediscovering Egypt. In the 19th century, the increased intensity of tourism and excavations, as well as the outflow of antiquities to other countries, threatened Egypt's archaeological heritage. Egyptians took part in this destruction by ransacking sites for artifacts to sell, quarrying stones from ancient monuments, and removing sebak, ancient mud bricks, to reuse for their own purposes.
Hey, look at this. Loads of topless gentlemen around.
A major step in conserving Egypt's heritage was taken in 1858, when the Viceroy of Egypt created the Antiquities Service. Supported by a team of foreign scholars, Auguste Mariette exerted an iron grip on the service. He carried out his work across Egypt and into Nubia, intervening on almost every major site. Aware of the necessity of keeping unearthed artifacts in Egypt, Mariette requested a museum be created for that purpose in 1858. This museum was the ancestor of the Egyptian Museum.
Oh no, Michael, no, that's, I get a furball just thinking about that, I know when I asked if Lad wanted to go see it, he just went up to me and went, fuck right off, you.
Gaston Maspero, Mariette's successor, expanded and reorganized the Antiquities Service and instigated laws regulating the export of artifacts. French scholars ran the service until it passed into Egyptian hands in the 1950s. As of the mid-19th century, Egyptology was fast becoming a recognized discipline within both private institutions and learned societies.
And if any of you have seen the Cats movie, as we're running by a little small boy... Was that a little girl? I'm sorry, I don't say it. Children, let's go with that. Yeah, no, if, Cats, I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault, I didn't make the film.
A French architect, archaeologist, and former researcher, Jean-Claude Golvin, now specializes in the artistic reconstruction of ancient cities and monuments. To date, he has created more than 800 drawings, which include 3 volumes focusing on the reconstitution of ancient Egypt. His work is exquisitely detailed and can be found in books and museums around the world.
Really? Oh, hello, lady. Oh, now, trader, come on. Oh, sorry, I got a bit distracted there.
The team was thrilled to collaborate with Jean-Claude Golvin in order to recreate Egypt for the game. In the 19 exclusive watercolors he created for the team, Golvin used scientific data as the base, and then extrapolated to provide a full interpretation of various locations and monuments in ancient Egypt. Both early sketches and fully rendered images were then used by the team as references while building the world of Assassin's Creed Origins.
So again, make it up as I go along.
Although ancient Egypt's rich religious culture and its mortuary monuments continue to be investigated, the modern discipline of Egyptology has shifted focus. Rather than single-mindedly retrieving impressive artifacts, Egyptologists today focus instead on increasing the body of knowledge. In the past, excavations took place in the field, and while that is still the case today, much of the work on Egyptology now takes place in libraries and archives.
Well, yeah, because it's a bit hot outside. You don't want to get sunburned while reading a book about history, about a desert, which is hot.
Today, archaeology in Egypt relies on an interdisciplinary approach, where traditional Egyptologists are helped by a wide spectrum of scientists from other disciplines and new, non-invasive techniques. GPS data, satellite imaging, and ground-penetrating radar allow archaeologists to gain a sense of what lies underneath the ground before excavating.
So Indiana Jones would be very happy with that. He really would. That Natron.
Welcome to natron.
Oh, natron, okay. Oh, that's time collected
Natron
then.
is a colorless salt that was used by ancient Egyptians for food preservation, cleansing products, and glassmaking. It was also used in the mummification process.
We'll say about mummies, what about daddies?
During the ceremonial embalmment ritual, the priests packed the body in natron in order to remove all of the moisture. Once the body was thoroughly desiccated, they could begin the wrapping.
He got to do something about this pork chop, York Mo. He drew whatever trainer, banned fire, heck, call again to make him disappear. He's doing his job, you know.
Natron was mined in Wadi Natron. The main mining methods involved either cutting slices out of the lake bed when it was dry, or raking through mineral-saturated water to gather the mineral salts during the floods.
I can't read you that, by the way. Not very good, admittedly. You know, it allows us to show me pictures at times, but...
Both techniques are still used today, and inspired the team in their recreation of the mines located in the mountains northwest of Memphis.
It's that bloody hell, trader. We're coming up to almost halfway through. How do you feel? You feel alright? You feel you're doing a good job? Not really, no. No, I don't think so, no. I haven't seen as much boobs as we did earlier, so I think that lowers the quality a bit. Yeah, Trump is a complete doofus. Fauna.
Welcome to Fauna of Ancient Egypt.
Really? Oh, look. Hello. Boobs are right, yes.
Both domesticated and wild animals were features in ancient Egyptian bas-reliefs as early as the First Dynasty. While the variety of wildlife served as a reliable food source, it also influenced both culture and mythology.
I bet they didn't worry about veganism.
Egypt's terrain allowed for a diverse range of animals, including panthers, rhinoceroses, elephants, and many variations of antelopes.
Now, come on, I think we're stretching a bit here. Trees, look at the trees, palm trees. Water. More cows. Hey, wait, were you taking a wee in there?
The Nile was home to many species of fish,
Oh,
along with
Robin, hit those!
hippopotami and crocodiles.
Look, hippo, on the right.
The wide variety of birds that populated the riverbanks, from raptors and waterfowl to songbirds, were all catalogued within Egyptian hieroglyphic signs. Encounters with reptiles and insects, such as cobras, scorpions, and scarabs, influenced hieroglyphs and art.
Oh no, not scarabs, I hate those. I hate those with peas and chips. isn't she getting a bit wet? You know, running through that swamp.
While all animals had sacred meanings, lions in particular represented power and royalty to ancient Egyptians. They were so prized by pharaohs that they were hunted to extinction within Egypt.
He may well have. He may have found his little niche, you know, apart from singing. But what's next on this magical mystery tour? I don't know, Trader, did you pay attention? Of course not. No, that's I'm a tour guide. Did you not see The Apprentice?
Welcome to Flora of Ancient Egypt.
Oh, bloody Nora. Standing right there next to us, I was pooed.
The climate and unique geography of the Nile Delta offered a wide variety of plant species. Many of these plants served as sustenance for ancient Egyptians and as crops for trade. The Nile's consistent seasons allowed Egypt to sustain itself for centuries. Possibly the most useful of the plants was the papyrus. This tall sedge plant grew in abundance along the water's edge of the Nile. Commonly known for its use as paper, the ancient Egyptians found many other functions for it, including rope, sandals, and mats. Papyriform boats made from the plant are seen in paintings and reliefs, and were used in ritualistic ceremonies.
Aye, it made me shit myself, it really did, dude. Lad's looking at me disgusted.
There were many types of trees along the River Nile, such as the date palm, carob, and tamarisk.
Napalm?
The earliest fruit tree cultivated was the fig tree, followed by apple, pomegranate, and eventually olive trees during the era of the New Kingdom. Mango cultivation was the result of a late import from Asia during the Middle Ages.
I don't really want napalm trees. Oh no, that just sounds explosive.
Some trees were associated with gods, such as the acacia with Horus. The divinities Thoth and Seshat were depicted inscribing the reign of the king into a Persea tree. The sycamore was connected with the goddess Iset, patron of the ritual of life.
That's your finishing shout, is it? Napalm. Is it napalm? Was that a little bit TMI? So now we're gonna look at paintings and go, oh, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Welcome to Ancient Egyptian Hieroglyphs.
Good night, Michael. Good night, Michael. See you tomorrow for some snooker, hopefully.
Hieroglyphics were used as sacred writing, appearing on monuments, statues, and sacred papyrus texts. The earliest symbols that resemble hieroglyphs were on pottery dating back to 4000 BCE. This stylized form of signs and drawings was the only writing used from its ancient origins to the end of pharaonic history. Ancient Egyptians referred to hieroglyphs as the writing of the gods.
That's because they were a bit thick.
Considered a difficult language, it was intended for pharaohs, nobility, and priests, and meant to be used in ceremonies, within tombs, and for government records. Since few Egyptians were able to read the ancient hieroglyphs, the mythological aura around the language was persistent, even in their own culture. The structure of hieroglyphs offers insight into Egyptian culture, not just in what the translations say, but in the structure of the symbols themselves. They were found on tomb walls, on sarcophagi, on statues, and on pottery, and were meticulously recorded in countless ancient papyri.
And hieroglyph a girl as well.
In many temples, priests would perform rituals and daily offerings. These were accompanied by hieroglyphs used as spells. In tomb paintings, the hieroglyphs are represented with formulas to recite. These spoken words were meant to be spells which would allow the deceased to benefit from the offerings for all eternity. Spells and offerings were also written for the living, to enhance medicines and cure illnesses. The most famous of ancient Egyptian documents is the Book of the Dead. Written in hieroglyphs and hieratic texts, it depicts important spells and rituals. These spells were intended to ensure a smooth transition from life to death and allow the deceased to safely navigate the perils of the afterlife.
Yeah, well, it didn't tell people how to clean up after themselves. I mean, look at the state of this place again. It's filthy. I did once, yes. Yes, I did once.
Even after it was deciphered, the reading of hieroglyphs remained difficult at times due to the many directions in which they can be read. Depending on the orientation of the signs, hieroglyphs can be read left to right, right to left, horizontally or vertically, though never bottom to top.
Oh no, she was a lovely lady, and then she burst.
A clue on which way to read is to first notice which direction the figurative signs are facing. If a pictogram is looking to the right, then the reader is meant to start from the right and read towards the figure. Column text on a papyrus begins from the right, then goes top to bottom for each column. Text written on tomb walls resembles the structure of a page from a comic book. The text can be placed in front, behind, or above the character, and its symbols look in the same direction as the character. Another clue is that the name of a god or hieroglyphs meaning gods or kings are always written before the descriptive text. Compared to alphabetical languages, Egyptian hieroglyphs have more symbols. Confronted with the absence of vowels, the Egyptians invented a category of signs. When placed at the end of words, these signs help inform its meaning. For instance, a drawing of a lion will refer to a lion and also relate to the abstract concept of a lion as something dangerous or powerful.
Either comic or emojis.
Middle Egyptian hieroglyphs contained a little more than 700 signs. By the end of the Greco-Roman period, there were 10,000 signs. Egyptologist Sir Alan Gardner created a list classifying common hieroglyphic signs and their variants.
Just to butt in here for a second or two, trader. That's a fuck ton of signs.
Ancient Egyptian languages have many similarities with Asian and African languages. They have evolved in similar ways to the various forms of written Egyptian. These languages belong to the Hamito-Semitic group, There were 5 clear evolutions in the Egyptian language, each with their own distinctive structure. These languages are known as Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, Late Egyptian, Demotic, and Coptic. Coptic is the only living language that allows linguists to define the vowel structure and to distinguish different dialects.
And walk like an Egyptian.
While hieroglyphs and hieratic script give us an idea as to how the ancient Egyptian language was structured and written, the way it was spoken is still up for debate. The team opted for English as the spoken language, with the characters using ancient Egyptian and Greek words and accents. The language that is spoken in the background by the crowds is largely based on Sir Alan Gardner's Egyptian grammar. To help resurrect a dead language, we consulted Egyptologists and dialogue coaches to establish our target sound, and cast actors with Arabic, Hebraic, and African backgrounds to bring the game to life.
I saw something. What's going on with it, Geo?
After Alexander the Great's arrival in Egypt and the establishment of his reign, Greek became the language used by the governing bodies. The inability to read hieroglyphs caused resentment among the Greek population. It's from this tension that the Rosetta Stone was created.
How can you really cheat? You ever miss the ball or you don't? If you hit the ball, it's not a given thing
The
that's going
spread
to go
of
for home run.
Christianity ended pharaonic culture and resulted in the destruction of its pagan monuments. This also marked the end of hieroglyphic writing and understanding.
I mean, the big news I saw earlier, and again, sorry Trader, I am stepping on your toes a little bit here, but I think this one needs to be said, but I'm going to say it after saying Letitia Lemon, Smidgy, QB, Totally Kravitz, The Immortal McLeod, Reverse Pro Gamer, and Tesla FC. Thank you for your hosts this evening. I should have found it using their cams to steal signs and such. Huh. So the big piece of news I saw today was that Cyberpunk 2077 is being delayed to September 17th. Which doesn't make me angry. It's like, oh, that's a birthday present and a half. Excuse me. Can we get back to me?
Welcome to Jean-Francois Champollion.
The what?
Between the 5th century CE and the Renaissance, knowledge of hieroglyphs was entirely lost. Many enthusiasts tackled the challenge of deciphering the language with little success. Some groundwork was made with various researchers identifying names and some grammatical structure, and confirming that cartouches were markers for royal names. They were still missing a critical piece of information that would eventually be revealed thanks to the discovery of the Rosetta Stone.
Wait. How can you use electric devices to determine what pitch the pitch is doing? That makes no sense. I mean, because that's a spur of the moment thing. Unless you give hand signals that you know you're about to catch
The
her.
Rosetta Stone was found in 1799 by Bouchard, a soldier in Napoleon's army. The stela dates from 196 BCE, written in ancient Egyptian and Greek with 3 scripts: hieroglyphics, Demotic, and Greek alphabet. Following the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1801, the English took possession of the stone. It has been at the British Museum since 1802 and remains the most visited object of the museum to date. The first translation was of the Greek section only in 1803. It detailed a decree of Pharaoh Ptolemy V, reminding the citizens that their pharaoh had led Egypt to prosperity. It was fully translated 20 years after by Jean-Francois Champollion, who was working with a facsimile.
He was working with what? Oh, hello, lady. Oh, there's something there. Is that Dougie?
Through his studies of the stone, Champollion was able to make a critical observation that would unlock the whole mystery. That hieroglyphics were not only ideograms, but also phonograms. Hieroglyphs consist of phonetic glyphs, single characters, and logograms. Essentially, they are a combination of phonetics, alphabet, and full words, which in total form a language.
Oh no, well, let me pet the Dougie.
While studying the stone, Champollion realized that there was a difference in the number of hieroglyphic characters in relation to the number of Greek characters for the same word. This led him to believe that hieroglyphs must have phonetic characteristics. This was the first step to unlocking the Rosetta Stone's secrets. To prove this theory, Champollion began identifying Egyptian rulers' names and then compared their phonetic pronunciation to the Greek version. For example, Cheops had been the Greek name given by ancient chroniclers to the owner of the Great Pyramid, Khufu.
I don't know about you, but all these hieroglyphs look the same to me.
The next step for Champollion was to confirm that his approach was verifiable by using the Philae obelisk as an additional reference. Engraved in the obelisk are two inscriptions in Egyptian hieroglyphs and Greek. Once he confirmed the names of Ptolemy and Cleopatra within these texts and confirmed the same phonetic patterns as on the Rosetta Stone, Champollion knew he was on the right track.
I'm on the right track because I can see the line.
Champollion had already mastered several ancient languages when he took on deciphering the Rosetta Stone. He used his knowledge of Coptic to identify the solar disk hieroglyph on the obelisk as the phonetic translation of Ra. Further translation only strengthened his conclusion. Egyptian hieroglyphs encompass the alphabet in both phonetics and determinative ways, which means that the symbol represents the word itself.
Hey, that was something, wasn't it? I don't know. Stunning linguist, eh? What about a cunning linguist? Oh, about another city, okay.
Welcome to Cyrene.
It looks like any other city. Oh.
A reference to the 5 main cities that formed the Greek colonies. Built on a lush plateau of the Green Mountains, in what is present-day Libya, a colony of Greek settlers formed the city of Cyrene in 630 BCE. Cyrene's population quickly grew, spreading out across the terraces of the plateau, making it the first and largest of the 5 colonies.
Misky with a raid. How you doing? Welcome in. Ali, how you doing as well? Welcome in to the stream. As the Yorkshire Trader is taking you on a tour. He's taking you on a tour You demand another. I heard it. It was there. Literally a flying visit. Hope you heard an awesome stream. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Did you? What did you play? Oh, and thank you, True Jesus, Dreamboy Roy, Lucky Mucky Lucky, Tulsinator, Nogden, Crawling Blaze, and Captain Oates. Thank you for those. I'm alright, thank you. I got a bit of a cold, which I got from Lard, the cheeky bugger. I told him I didn't want it, you know, but he still passed it to me.
The city of Cyrene was founded by Batos Aristotle, guided by the Oracle of Delphi. Overcrowded and suffering from drought,
I know, he's a pain in the ass at
Hera
times, isn't he?
could not sustain its citizens. Batos consulted the Oracle, who told them to journey to the North African coast in search of arable land. A series of kings reigned over the city in the first 2 centuries. However, rebellion eventually ended the monarchy, and henceforth the city was governed by the aristocracy.
Oh no, wait, I'll handle this one, Yorkshire. Yorkshire Trader will be singing again soon when he's fully match fit, because he's been asked to do a duet for a Human League song.
The key features of Cyrene were temples dedicated to gods, Apollo, Demeter, and Zeus, alongside Ptolemaic gods such as Isis and Serapis. A large agora defined the city's center, and on the western edge, the famed Acropolis was built. A fortification wall was added around the harbor at the end of the 2nd century CE. As the city grew, more buildings were constructed beyond the walls.
So, more buildings that look like they haven't been put together properly, you know.
Under Roman influence, Cyrene became an economic powerhouse, rising in status throughout the Mediterranean. Cyrene's School of Medicine rivaled all others except for that of the Greek city Kos. Some of the great minds in ancient math, astronomy, and geography were born or established in the various schools of the city, which included an institute of philosophy founded by Aristippus, a pupil of Socrates. From 115 to 117 CE, there was a revolt in the Jewish quarter that greatly damaged the city of Cyrene. Over time, a succession of battles, poor management of its silphium crop, and earthquakes eventually took their toll on the city. It was completely abandoned in 365 CE.
It probably was.
The nearby port of Apollonia was an ideal location, with its natural cove, sheltered by 2 islands and rocky inlets. Along with a lighthouse, the port was later equipped with quays and warehouses to accommodate the increased shipping traffic.
I mean, last I heard, was, have hippos. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? Good night, Dante. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you'll be around tomorrow for some snooker.
With its success as a commercial trading port, Apollonia surpassed Cyrene to eventually become the capital of the Pentapolis. A number of earthquakes gradually shifted the city, causing many of its original structures to sink. Some of its ruins can still be seen underwater.
Cheers, dude. Oh nice, I haven't even started on number 3 yet. I haven't even played the pre-sequel yet either. Even I've got it now. we'll learn about thermal baths now. Oh, we might see some more
Welcome
boobs.
to the Agora and Thermal Baths. Cyrene's Agora was the public marketplace and political hub of the city. Its central courtyard was open to the sky, while market stalls and shops ran along the sides, some neatly tucked away under long-roofed colonnades. As in other Greek cities, the Agora included a central hearth, known as a Prytaneum. This place served as Cyrene's official embassy, where guests were welcomed to the city. An unnamed statue representing naval victories was the centerpiece of the Agora. The statue's female figure likely represents Nike, the goddess of victory. It was likely very similar to the victory of Samothrace, which currently resides in the Louvre Museum and served as a reference for the team.
Hello, ladies.
The Cyrene Agora also displayed many temples and monuments celebrating its founding king, Batos, and the city gods. There were 2 altars associated with the Temple of Apollo, and a marble statue base dedicated to the goddess Libya. The civic buildings included a law court complete with an archive library that would have housed legal documents and other papers essential to the city's governance. Traces of fire damage to the building's remains indicate that it was possibly destroyed during the rebellion of the Jewish community in 115 CE.
Always rebelling, isn't they? Some sort form of people now this sort of day and age.
Public baths were common in Roman and Greek cities, and Cyrene held true to this tradition. 2 thermal baths from different eras were discovered among the ruins. An inscription at the entrance of one of the baths is presumed to be attributed to the owner. It dates the building to the Hellenistic period.
Oh, wait, crossing the road. Look both ways. There we go.
Mosaics were originally created for practical reasons, the need to waterproof floors. Imported by Greeks in Egypt and Cyrenaica, the designs represented either scenes from daily life,
Oh, thank
marine
you,
fauna,
Aaron Wood,
or
Tracker
mythological
5709,
figures.
up for the hosts.
In addition to traditional Greek motifs, they also integrated concepts specific to Egyptian culture, such as the Nelumbo. The best examples of mosaics recovered to date, however, come from Alexandria.
What's she doing down
The
there?
Cyrene baths were fitted into an underground tomb dated somewhere between the 8th and 6th century BCE. Bath seats were carved directly in the rock, allowing for more comfortable ablutions. As with many of the public buildings, the thermal baths were elaborately decorated. Statues such as Aphrodite and Eros the Archer were discovered within. The Frigidarium, a pool of cold water, was the first room visitors entered. It was followed by the Tepidarium, or tepid water area, and then the hot water room called the Caldarium. Water for the thermal baths was sourced from a natural spring. Burning stones were deposited into the water to create steam as required. The flowing water of the spring ended in a cistern and fountain referred to as the Aqua Augusta.
You better see his winky.
Later Roman baths were built under Emperor Trajan and then restored under Hadrian. After the earthquake of 365 CE, they were replaced by baths of Byzantine design, with stones from the old thermal baths used in the reconstruction. The team relied on documentation describing the baths built under Trajan in order to create the location available in the game.
Yeah, Italian, I'm sure the trader will agree with me. Some of this stuff they could have left out. I feel. No, it's important to people to know for historical things, lad. And we get to see boobs. Oh, Temple of Zeus. Not
Welcome
Temple of
to
Love.
The Temple of Zeus in Cyrene. Facing east towards the rising sun stands the temple dedicated to the cult of Zeus. It was built sometime in the 5th century BCE. 70 meters long with 46 Doric-style columns, the imposing structure was the largest Greek temple erected in Africa. It was only slightly larger than the Parthenon and the Temple of Zeus in Olympia. The exterior was designed with the decorative elements common to Doric architecture. The dimensions of the columns were different, giving visitors an impression of uniqueness when viewing each facade.
I'd go see a doctor about that, Jill.
After the temple was destroyed during the Jewish rebellion, Emperor Hadrian had it reconstructed. He chose not to rebuild the outer portico, but did restore the new Corinthian columns in marble. The temple was later completed under Marcus Aurelius.
Wait, wasn't he that gladiator?
In the time of Augustus, a faithful but smaller imitation of the Olympian Zeus was used to be worshipped. Hadrian then installed a new 12-meter-high statue matching the Zeus in Olympia. It was made of chiseled marble, with the head, arms, and feet carved in the round. Archaeologists confirmed that there was a monumental statue of Zeus in this temple, though experts remain divided on whether it was one of Zeus or one more specific to the cult of Zeus Ammon. The team elected to place a statue of Zeus Ammon in this location, knowing that Cyrene was central to the spread of this cult in the Greek Mediterranean area.
Careful, I don't want to look up his blanket. I get to see Divinity Winky. More monuments.
Welcome to Important Monuments of Cyrene. The Sanctuary of Apollo sits on a prominent edge of the plateau of Cyrene, overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. It could be accessed either by the road from Apollonia, via the necropolis, or by the Sacred Way, coming from the agora of the city. The abundance of temples and statues throughout the city reflect the various Greco-Roman and Egyptian cult influences over the centuries. Temples dedicated to Apollo, Cyrene, and Zeus stood alongside those of Ptolemaic gods, such as Serapis and Isis. Numerous fountains were decorated to represent other gods, including the city's namesake, Cyrene.
I mean, because the Romans nicked the other gods and went, oh, these ones sounds much better than ours. Can we have these? And when, Greece said no, they went, well, we're going to have them anyway, so bugger off.
A vestibule known as a propylaeum marked its entrance and highlighted the fountain of Apollo. God of the sun and of protection, Apollo was an important deity to both Greeks and Romans. The sanctuary built in his honor was considered to be sacred.
More boobs. There you go. There you go, Jill.
The imposing temple was built on a natural cornice, stretching more than 200 meters in length and roughly 50 meters in width, and was surrounded by a vast Doric colonnade. Sections uncovered by archaeologists indicate restorations to the columns were made between 115 and 116 CE. The altar was located in front of the temple. Both are estimated to be the same age, though restored at different times. Many bulls were sacrificed each year at the altar in honor of Apollo. The imprint in the stone of the ring used to strap the animals down is visible to this day.
Again, more rubbish just lying around. Why you do that? That's not... It's not nice. I could trip over it.
Carved during the Roman era, the Apollo Cytharide was discovered near the temple.
Oh, blimey.
It is considered an important archaeological find. The statue of Apollo was in pieces when it was uncovered. Remarkably, most fragments were found, and the restored statue is currently at the British Museum. The team extrapolated the statue's final look based on the current partial reconstruction, and placed it inside the temple to reflect the patron deity of the area.
That shell's not leaving much to be desired.
The amphitheater of Cyrene is located on what is known as the Terrace of Myrtosa, next to the sanctuary of Apollo. It was built on top of the old theater in the 2nd century. Originally used as a stage, the theater became an amphitheater once the taste for Roman gladiatorial entertainment reached the city. Entrances were placed at both ends of the amphitheater. A wall replaced the first 2 rows of bleachers as protection from the array of wild animals in the ring. The tunnel used for the parade of beasts and gladiators circled the arena, unlike the Roman Colosseum's tunnel, which was beneath the amphitheater. The basement and corridors accommodated both the gladiators and the animals, and included lifts that raised the traps into the arena's center.
It's like, we're doing a tour of the amphitheatres, it looks like, and, no.
Since the original theater was close to the cliffside, the expansion didn't allow for a perfect circle. Instead, junctions of the semicircle formed the arena into an oval shape. This elliptical formation still ensured an excellent view from all angles. The team decided to create a perfectly round theater for technical reasons, and used the structure of the Roman theater as their reference.
Okay, 3 more, ladies and gentlemen, 3 more. So you just about had enough then for the night, trader? Yes, yes it is. So does that mean then, trader, you're going to do the other 2 lots on Sunday? Yes, yes, because you got 2 Sunday services today, haven't you?
Welcome to the Acropolis of Cyrene. Located on the western edge of the city, Cyrene's Acropolis was smaller than the one in Athens, though its high vantage point provided protection for the city. At its entrance was a single door, flanked by 2 towers. An inscription, legible to this day, states that the walls and the citadel were restored in the time of Augustus.
Wait, look at you, he was just scratching his
A number of
ass.
statuettes have been excavated from the site, including one of Berenice, the daughter of Magus, the king of Cyrene, and half-brother of Ptolemy II. At the northeast tower, there is a sanctuary consisting of 2 small temples with a vestibule, and an altar believed to be that of Serapis and Isis. When the temples were excavated, archaeologists found traces of fire damage. However, there are no indications as to when this fire occurred.
Well, it was arson. Someone arsoned around.
In the 20th century, a fortification was built above the ward to defend against an invading army. It covered the ancient remains of nearby Roman houses entirely, and archaeologists have yet to fully excavate them.
Oh, it looks like I might knock off early. Oh, really? Well, yeah, did you see? We only got about 6 minutes. That's a good point, Trader. That's a good point. So, people in chat, while we're doing the last 2, how about giving us options for a raid? The Gladiators.
Welcome to the Gladiator Arena. While gladiators would not perform in Cyrene until later in the Roman era, the team decided to include a gladiatorial arena for 2 reasons. First, they believed it was important to portray this aspect of Roman life. And second, they felt it would add interesting gameplay possibilities.
Won't be long.
The first gladiators to enter the arena were prisoners of war. It was a spectacle of violent clashes between men and against wild beasts that lasted nearly 1,000 years.
Bloody hell, that was a long fight. Surprised they went knackered after about an hour.
Eventually, volunteers began to enter the ring. For status and money, many of the more skilled combatants increased the quality of the entertainment. Thus, the profession of gladiator came to be. Bound by contract to the master of the gladiators, the fighters were fed, trained, and guarded in barracks.
No wonder Jet didn't like it, being guarded in barracks.
Gladiators were separated into heavy and light armored fighters, each with their own set of specific armor and weapons. Organizers often had 2 audience-favored factions face each other in combat.
Glorious! No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will defend.
It's a J-Dub raid with a party of 12. Hello J-Dub, hello O'Joy. How was the killing
events
people?
were highly organized. Fights were held with a background of music and supervised by a referee. Death, either in the course of combat or by decision, was not always the only way out for the loser. Several were released due to their performance and gained great notoriety as celebrities.
Yorkshire Trader doesn't want his face shown on the screen, Jay, which is why he asked me to turn the camera off for this bit. Isn't that right, Trader? Yes, yes it is. Because, you know, otherwise I would have it on like this, you know, but... Sweden Ruckus, thank you for your host. How did your stream go, dude? Did people buy you pants? I don't know whether it's because he's shy or he just doesn't, you know, he can't be asked for it being on.
Welcome to Major Exports of Cyrene.
Stream was good. We did some assassinating one, and there was a Dark Brotherhood plot twist. Ooh. Tell us more.
Cyrene's main source of economic wealth was in the cultivation and export of poppies and silphium. Though the opium oil from the poppies was also an export, little is known about this crop. Information about the cultivation of silphium, however, is more accessible to us.
Ooh. Opium? Yes, trader. What? Why are you looking at me like that for? I just said opium.
Silphium, with its yellow flower, was considered a gift from the sun god. Grown solely in this region near the Mediterranean Sea, silphium extract was exported at high prices and was so crucial to the wealth of Cyrenaica that it was depicted on their coins.
You're still looking at me like that for? I don't know what you're looking at. I just said opium. Ah, because of spoilers. Ah, yes. Yes.
Silphium's roots produced a resin used by both the Greeks and Romans in medicines intended to cure cough, fever, indigestion, and many other ailments. It was also used as a contraceptive. In a compilation of culinary recipes from the 4th century BCE, the herb is mentioned in various recipes, including a flamingo dish.
A flamingo? Wait, what?
High demand, overexploitation, and possibly a shift in climate all contributed to the eventual extinction of silphium. The last mention of it dates from the 4th century CE, and to this day, no traces of this plant have been identified.
Okay then, trader. I think we're done. I think we've only got, on Sunday Service of Latter-day Dudes, the first episode that we're doing on Sunday. We'll be looking at the pyramids. And then on the Sunday evening, the second episode of the Sunday Service to catch us back up, to keep us on track for the April the 19th, will be Daily Life. And then we will start the main game proper. How long's that going to be? 13 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. 6 minutes. 3 minutes. 3. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, so we'll do those on the Sunday service of Latter-day Dudes. Thank you, Trader, for joining in and, you know, helping us out with this. That's alright. I'll do it again Sunday, I guess. Thank you very much. And for you guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It has been fun. Thank you for the 2 raids. I say I'll be back tomorrow for some more snooker. We've got another, I think it's a best of 7 match. So best of 7 or best of 9, I'm thinking. Unless I'm thinking on the wrong one. But yes, are we going for a raid? Who's on for a raid? Is there anybody on to raid? And my god, do I hate this dashboard for that. Gives me 3 options for a raid and that's it. Right, okay. Who is on? Who is on? Is there anybody on? It doesn't really look like there's anybody on I want to raid. Yeah. Is that Jinxie Gaming? From the bottom of song. Wait, this doesn't. Is it? What's she playing? Ah, Light Matter. No, I'll avoid that. Let's do Jinxie. Let's Jinxie Gaming. Never raided her before, so let's do that. So yeah, so thank you very much everyone. It has been a pleasure to be talking absolute bollocks to you this evening from the Yorkshire Trader and myself. So I'll see you tomorrow for some snooker. You have a good evening, and we will go do a raid. You beautiful, beautiful people. You beautiful, beautiful people. So I say to you, good night. And remember, it's a tea raid.